today's talk is the 4 locks and keys. And our master says, you know, so many people try to come into meditation and they think you meditate 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day and that will make me holy. I wish it was that simple. I wish it was that simple, but it isn't. Meditation is a process, and while you're meditating, when you're quiet, you can watch your mind think. That's what you can do. That's the initial process, because anybody who meditates will tell you one thing. You sit down, and you're just, the mind is going, it doesn't stop, does it? And when people come, no, I can never do this. I said, normal, the first few years, I said, do you know it took me 5 years maybe to have half a second break? And I don't even know if it was half a second because I don't know how long I was quiet for. But don't worry, it's hard work. What you eventually learn to do is transcend the mind. What I learned in my early years, that what really bombarded my mind was the way I reacted to the outside world, to other human beings. And I realized that is where the problem lied with my thought patterns. So when my master said, if you don't want to study anything about spirituality and you just want to live a good life, learn these 4 locks and keys really well. Because even if you don't become so spiritual, you will live a peaceful life and you will learn to control the mind just by these 4 things. You don't let other people destroy you. So the first one is, if you want to be happy, be friendly towards the happy. So the first key is friendliness towards the happy. Can you all say it?
Friendliness towards the happy.
Again.
Friendliness towards the happy.
And why friendly towards the happy? Simple. When you're around good vibrations, how do you feel?
Good.
Correct. And when you're around negative vibrations, how do you feel?
Not so good.
Yeah. So why do we insist on spending time with people who make us miserable? You know, so many times I see people and they say, oh, you know, I went to this party and I met this person and, you know, they were horrible, and they get so upset. Next week they go to the same party, meet the same person, get upset. I said, who's the fool here? Why do you go to a place that makes you miserable? You can choose, you know. You can say no. What is the point to say yes and make yourself miserable for weeks on end? You know, and this is what I loved about this one, because when I started to practice yoga, the 4 locks and keys, and I realized there was a lot of people in my life that were, you know, just always putting people down. They weren't happy. They were always gossiping. So I stopped going to all these coffee mornings with my friend. Thank God I had a job, and thank God I had work to do, because I prefer to work and go to these coffee mornings, come out miserable, disturbed, and spoil the rest of the day. I prefer to be alone. You know, so my husband was very happy with me because I worked with him. And every time I got invited, and it was our own business, I could have easily gone, darling, you don't really want me to go to the coffee morning, do you? He said, no. I said, because I don't want to be involved in this nonsense. Not that I didn't like these people. I really loved them. But you know what? I just didn't want the negativity in my life. So I decided to be around happy people. So I started to meet with, and you know, as you think, it becomes, right? So I lost a lot of those friends. They thought I was a bit of a goody-goody, which is fine. That's their problem, not mine. But I made some wonderful friends. I met some through my master right away. And I thought, I like these people. I like being around these people. They're kind, they're generous, they're loving. And then slowly my life changed, because all the kind of people I met were just so great. And still today, you know, I was just in Portugal. Les and I went to Portugal a weekend, and I did a teacher training there. And you know, all the students, they were glowing, and there was a young man there. And when he heard the sutras, because he fell in love with them immediately, didn't he? And he just started singing after the class. This little heart of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And I go, oh, that is so lovely to hear. Young man, he must have been 26, 27, and he was a school teacher, kindergarten school teacher. And he said, it makes me happy to listen to these things. So I said, can you sing it all the time you were here? So of course he sang it. The next morning when I went to teach again, I heard the whole class singing this song as I enter the room. And guess how you feel? Do you know, even before I teach, the room is set up with this joy. And of course, when you're surrounded by joy, you see everybody. I said, please, they stopped singing as soon as I entered. Please don't. Please don't. Because it's so lovely to hear these great words. And then I felt so happy. And they felt so happy. So friendliness towards the happy. Many times, when people are happy, and it will happen to you when you become more and more happy as you practice this science, people get jealous. They get like envious. Oh, it's a fake. I was always called a fake and a hypocrite. That's their problem. The lucky thing that God gave me, or a great gift that I got from the heavens, wherever it came from, was if people don't like me, it's okay. You know, I'm quite detached. You know, it's fine, you have your opinion. It really doesn't bother me. So that's a great gift I received in my life. Oh, she's a hypocrite, and my students used to come, oh, Nalanie, they're speaking about, still today, right? I get a lot of jealousy from my peers. And I go, just don't worry, because it's their problem. If they're jealous or they're upset, it's in their mind. There's no peace. How do you feel when you're jealous? Anybody in this room? It's one of the worst emotions in the world. Tell me about it. I used to be that way when I was younger. I tell you, I was so grateful to lose jealousy. I was so grateful to lose that feeling, because that's the worst feeling in the world. So I go, I really feel sorry for them. They should feel jealous, because it's horrible to live with that. I am free. You know, I am free. And that's the lovely feeling you get with this science. You feel free. You feel lighter. So be friendly towards happy people. And you know, even in the business world, I see a lot of men, they develop a lot of jealousy. Because when I was working with my husband, I started studying when I was working. And you know, somebody's business would be doing well, and I'd go with my husband sometimes to the pub in the evening, you know, and I'd hear the men talking. Yeah, but you don't know, they're doing some illegal work, you don't know what they're doing here, there. And I thought, oh my God. You know, and one of the chaps that they were talking about was one of our staff earlier on. He came to Gibraltar having just $50. He worked with us for a couple of years, and he said, I want to do more with my life. So he got a bank loan. In those days, it was much easier than today, right, Les, with all the compliance? So he got a bank loan, started a small shop, became very successful. He had a personality. He worked so hard. So my husband and I were so happy for him that he was doing so well. But everybody else, oh, he must be, you know, doing illegal drugs. I said, you know, he worked with us for 2 years. He worked really hard. He saved all his money. It's only when he started making money, his family was in India, that he started bringing his wife over. And then he started to have children in Gibraltar. You know, so I saw him work hard. And, you know, I said, it's so sad. And people who are jealous, they have nothing to gain from it. So be careful of jealousy. When you see people happy, don't prejudge them. Don't start to make all these judgments. You may be correct. Let's say you are correct. But what benefit does it give you to be thinking about somebody else and jealous of them all day long? What a waste of your time and your mind. What a waste of your life. You know, why would you want to do that? Don't you respect your life enough to know that there's so much work to do in this body and this mind? Why would you want to spend all your time trying to think of something bad in somebody else? What a waste of your energy. And I see people waste an entire life being jealous. And I just think, you just lost the plot, my friend. You just lost your plot. So, and it's quite sad. I find it so sad that human beings can go to such a low level to make themselves feel better by putting somebody else down. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? Aren't you good in yourself? Don't you believe in yourself? Don't you know you are divine? Don't you know the Spirit lives in everyone? Don't you know all of us are special in our own way? Why would you have to put somebody else down to make yourself feel better? And then you don't end up feeling better because you know you've done that. So you end up bitter, and you get this face that, you don't, body language, and of course you're going to get cancer. It's obvious, isn't it? So much hate in you. Of course you're going to get it. Of course you're going to get stress. Normal. So, the first key, friendliness towards the happy. Remember that. Friendliness towards the happy. And when you're happy, people sing, laugh, you know. Yeah, and your heart lifts, your heart lifts, your heart lifts. And when it lifts, then your thoughts are much better. Your thoughts are much clearer. Because when you're happy, you know how you feel. When you're in love, you know how you feel. Your thoughts are just lovely. You have no time for nonsense. And when you're spiritually in love, it's the best drug in the world. It's the best drug in the world. Because you're in love with life all the time. Good or bad, doesn't matter. You know this is life. This is the journey through life. But you are in love with the divine because you know this is just a beautiful drama. And guess what? Now I know how to play the game. It's like if you know how to play a game well, like chess or backgammon, right? And you get good moves, right? You know the moves to make, and when you know the moves to make, you can win the game. And life is like that. It's like a chess game. If you know the right moves to make, yay, you achieved it, you know, and that's how you feel. Doesn't matter how anybody else feels, because nobody can live in your body and your mind but you, correct? Can anybody live in your mind and body but you? So stop worrying so much about what people think and start living life as you, as who you are, the individual gift you have been given. Because you know, Silta was the one who actually told me this the first time in 1989, and it made such a difference in my life. She said, don't you know you're special? There's no one like you. No one with your smile. No one with your expression. No one with your character. No one like you in this entire world. Don't you think you're special? So why do you want to be like other people? Why do we spend our lives trying to look like other people, be like other people, when we have everything in here? You know, and I came up with this new thing. You're a designer piece. Why would you want to be a copy? People in Marbella, you certainly understand this language. Why would you want to be a copy? I'm very truthful, by the way. Don't mince my words. So anyway, so that's the first one. The second key is compassion towards the unhappy. Can you say it?
Compassion towards the unhappy.
Let's repeat the first one again.
Friendliness towards the unhappy.
Second one.
Compassion towards the unhappy.
I really want you to memorize it because this will help you for the rest of your life, okay? Compassion towards the unhappy. So what do we do with all these unhappy people? Either we try to make them happy by telling them off and saying, stop being so depressed. Don't you know you're always so depressed? Can't you cheer yourself up? And can you see while you are telling them to please cheer yourself up, what's happening to you? And then they will say to you, but why should I take your advice? Because you don't do the same yourself. And then there starts to be a defensive thing. How dare you do this when I try to help you? Ooh, I've seen this 1,000 times in my life. The only key really that is worth using is compassion. When somebody is unhappy, what is compassion to you? Would anybody want to try a word?
Caring.
Pardon?
Caring.
Caring. Absolutely caring. Empathy. Caring. It's when people are so unhappy, please don't lecture them. It's the last thing they ever need. I really, really don't need it. Just listen, keep quiet. And if they want help, say, if you need me, I am here. Finish. Give them compassion. Maybe they need a hug. Maybe you can hold their hand. And then they'll feel very comfortable. And they'll come to you if they need you. because they feel the compassion. You feel their pain. You're not judging their pain. Maybe their pain is based on ridiculous circumstances. Maybe they're really dumb and stupid, But doesn't matter. They don't know. Their pain is based on ignorance. And we can't judge because we were there before. So what you do is when you have compassion for them, then they can start thinking, why am I doing these horrible things again and again and again? Because you're giving them space to think without judging them. You're showing them some loving care. Because when they're very unhappy at that time, they really believe that nobody loves them. That's what I've seen in my years of work. But on the other hand, don't also be in their company all the time. I'll give you a lovely story about one of my students who's allowed me to give this story. Some of you may have heard it before. She's so lovely, so kind, so generous, so compassionate. And she one day came to me, she said, oh, I know this woman, her name is Dolores, and she's always in pain. What a name. Don't get, it's kind of worry. She was Dolores, right? Dolores. And she said she's always in pain. And I go, okay, so, should we give her a new name? Let's call her Joy. She doesn't believe in Sanskrit name. Because she really believed that everything in her life wasn't working. So this student of mine brought her into the office, and so I talked to her about, many things. She came 5-6 times, and she came to many of my talks. This was in Gibraltar many years ago. And she started to become a little happy. She actually did. And I nicknamed her Joy because she didn't believe in Sanskrit. So no problem, just call you Joy all the time. What happened was, the friend that brought her husband became very sick. So Dolores or Joy stopped coming for about 5 or 6 months. Then suddenly one day she walked into my office and I really need to see you. So I said, you look so agitated. What's going on? I haven't seen you for a long time. She said, oh, that friend of mine. She said, she's not a friend, she's an idiot. Her husband is so horrible to her, and yet she loves him and she looks after him, and she's an idiot. And I go, please don't ever, ever speak about her that way. Don't you dare. This woman has done everything to help you when nobody was there. And I know her husband is so difficult, but they really love each other. So it's none of your business, I said. You have no right to interfere with her marriage. And then I realized what she was doing. She was jealous that her friend had a marriage that actually worked, even though they argued, but it didn't matter, it worked. They were together for so many years. And she wanted to look after her husband instead of bring her to the center and go with her, so she felt she lost a friend. So what was the next move? Break the marriage up. So I was really quite direct with her, and I told her, don't you ever do anything like that, and I will tell your friend, So her friend, I called her friend, and I said, her name is Devi, Sanskrit it means goddess. I said, Devi, I need to be very truthful with you. I know your friend is unhappy. You really have tried to help her, and now she's trying to destroy you. Time to step away. Please step away. Just trust me on this one. Don't be horrible. Be compassionate, but she's not a friend. So, but Devi, oh, Nalanie, I know, poor thing, da-da. And I said, you know what? Do what you like. The 4 locks and keys. We'll come to the 4th lock later, and you'll know what I told her to do. But I said, the 4 locks and keys so well. You can see what is happening here. It's turning into jealousy, not unhappy anymore. You don't need to use the compassion key anymore. Okay? She's going back to her old ways. But she was so kind, and this woman was going to move now because, of course, she upset all her neighbors. So she was blaming her neighbors for giving her all the trouble. She never thought it was her after all these years, all her neighbors. She's never had one neighbor that liked her. So she had to move again. So poor Debbie said, I'm going to go and help her back. I said, go 1 hour, but don't give all your time. Your husband is sick. You're getting older. She was 70, 72, 73. He needs you. You're getting exhausted. You teach the yoga class at 6 o'clock. Please don't overexhaust yourself for your friend or for this person. But she didn't listen, and she did, and she went every day. So it happened that on one of the days that she'd gone there, gone to help her pack the whole day, and then she said bye, and then she realized she needed to go to the, to the loo. So she stopped at the cafeteria next door to go to the loo. Now, while she was just coming out of the loo, this person, Joy or Dolores, came to use the phone there. And she said, oh, I had this pain in the neck with me all day, Debbie, and all she did is tell me what to do, how to pack, where to put everything. I can't stand her. I don't know how to get rid of her. And she was just there. She heard it. Yeah. And she came out and she goes, how can you say that? You've been thanking me for my help all afternoon. So it literally broke Debbie's heart, literally. So much it broke her heart that she got sick. She actually got sick because she couldn't believe that somebody could do that. So I said, well, Debbie, I don't blame her. You didn't use the right key. You used the wrong key. You should have used the fourth key, which we're going to come to now. And so she learned a great lesson. So you see, you can't save everyone. You can't. We would love to. We would love to help everyone. We'd love to save everyone. It's not in our hands. Sometimes you have to allow people to go through their rock bottom before they will work on themselves. If you're always picking them up, if you're always trying to help them the other extreme, they don't work too well. Let me tell you another story which would really make you understand this point. There was a scientist, and he was studying cocoons. So he had a huge cocoon, and in the cocoon was a moth. And he was looking at it and studying it, and one day it started to shake a little. He goes, oh my God, I'm going to see how the moth comes out of the cocoon. The second day it shook a little bit more. The third day it really shook, and he goes, I'm such an idiot. The moth is obviously struggling, so why don't I take a pair of scissors and let me cut the cocoon and let the moth come out. So he took a pair of scissors, cut it, and out came this crippled moth. Because it needed to have the struggle before, because when it was struggling, it was getting juices off the cocoon to grow its wings. And he realized by helping him, he actually crippled him. So, we have to be very wise who you help in this life, and when you give compassion also. Always give compassion as a start. But when you see people biting back, walk away. Walk away. Please walk away. You will be hurt. You will be very hurt. So that is the second key, compassion towards the unhappy. Buddha says compassion is one of the greatest practice we can have in our life. And even when somebody is so negative to you, when you walk away, I just like to add a further thing on this. When you walk away, that's when you will be able, because you're not in their energy field, you will really be able to be compassionate. And feel your heart. Send them light. Cover them with light. So I really hope you find your peace. Sorry I can't do it for you. I really would, but I can't. So I'm going to let you go in peace. May you find your peace. By this practice, you free yourself and you free the person that has hurt you. You free both of you. So remember to do that. Somebody hurts you, see them and let them go in your mind and say, I wish you peace and I wish you joy. Just doesn't have to be with me. And that's the wisdom. That's the great wisdom and the great truth. And then the third key is delight in the virtuous. Can you say? Delight in the virtuous. So we've got friendliness towards the happy, compassion towards the unhappy, delight in the virtuous. Now, there's so many good people in the world. Do you know that? And my work that I do and where I travel, all I meet are great human beings. Really, I meet such incredible people. I mean, look, what you do, your life is service, your life is service, your life is service. I know so many people who've been studying with me maybe 8-9 years ago, and their whole life is service and love and kindness. I feel so proud to meet them. I feel so happy when, I have a special needs boy that he lives here and I can't look after him because too many people for me to look after. And Audrey says, I take over. Then I hear Turtu saying, I'll look after the old ladies. I think she's alone. Last Christmas I said, Turtu, maybe you're alone. Why don't you spend Christmas with me? Oh, no, I'm too busy. I have 4 dinner parties with all the old people who are alone. Don't you think that's fabulous? She makes them happy. I love it. And then she makes herself happy, And then Steve and Karen have started a place in Coeen, and they're bringing happiness to people who are not. There's just so many kind of like, wow, incredible human beings in the world. And when you see them do good things, delight, just delight, delight, delight. Oh, I'm so happy to meet you in my life. I'm so happy to have a lovely man in my life who works for a charity, who's kind, who's giving. Delight. When you delight in people like that, your heart will feel good. Your heart will feel, and guess what? You'll meet more people like that, because as you think, that's what the secret is about, right? The law of attraction. Yeah? But it doesn't work by just writing things on the wall and sticking things, I'm going to be a millionaire, or I'm going to be, no, it doesn't work like that. I wish it did. It's so easy. Absolutely not. You have to deal with karma, you have to deal with cause and effect, you have to deal with your mind stuff. So you could be saying all these things on the wall, and your mind stuff is, well, like this one, and that one doesn't deserve this, and that not going to work, because what are you going to attract? Those kind of people. Because that's what you are thinking. So you can do all the things on the outside, won't work on the inside. It just won't. So the real thing to work with is the inside. What am I thinking? And of course, when you're with good people, your heart feels happy, right? I feel so happy that you're doing good things. I feel so happy. And because we're all one. And if you can feel happy for other people, then it's like a boomerang. The whole room starts to be happy. Your whole home is full of joy, And the problem in life is, even with relationships, with partnerships, the sad thing is, when we first meet someone, we find all the good things in them. After 2 or 3 years, it's look for all the faults. Why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do this? And I didn't expect you to be like this. And when you find yourself doing this, try and correct it, because this is normal in relationships. Correct it. And when you do something to hurt somebody, say, I'm really sorry, got carried away in old patterns of thinking. Because while you're looking for the worst things in somebody else, what happens? That's what you're going to bring up, aren't you? That's exactly what they're going to be, because you are predicting. But when you see the greatness, I know you're capable of this. Maybe now you're in a down period, but I know that you are capable of this. It's just get through this bad time. And it's okay, I'll be there to hold your hand. I know you can do this. No, I was an expert, my husband, when I first started this path, and I tell this story often because I think it's such a good example, because so many people do the same. I don't, thank God, with this partner, I don't do this. But I think towards the end of my marriage, before my husband passed away 9 years ago, I had learned this lesson, so I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it, because at least we had such a wonderful closure when he left this earth. Such a wonderful closure. And so much peace and so much love in it. And so much pain, but that's life. Anyway, so I remember when before yoga, studying these sutras, we'd go to work together. And he'd walk in and, I really have a bad day. We didn't do much business today. Now how are we going to pay the bills? And I just get angry. You're so negative. That's why business is bad. Because look at me, what I am saying, and look at my face. Could I see it? No. And it was thanks to my master that pointed it out. One particular. We have that on, actually, lessons I learned on from my beautiful master. I have that story, one of the stories on YouTube. It's a short clip Shanti put up a few weeks ago. And you know, and he said to me, Nalanie, who's the negative one? He's just saying the truth. He had a bad day, right? It's the truth. It was a bad day. And what do I jump? Oh no, you have to be positive. Da, da, da. And then, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So next time, okay, he said, you know, we really had a bad day. Business was really bad. I know, darling, it was a bad day. It really was a bad day. Come sit down, let's relax. Maybe we'll go out for a drink. Maybe we'll go out for dinner. Let's relax. Let's think of something positive. Do you see? Different. The other one, always an argument. Always you're wrong and I'm right, and you're wrong and I'm right. And what a headache. And after I had this lesson, I realized there was no wrong and there's no right. We just have different ways of expressing things. That's all. It wasn't negative. He was totally 100% truthful. But I thought I was so clever. So, you know, watch out for these tricks of the mind. Watch out for these tricks of the mind. Really watch out for them. So, delight in the virtuous. And I used to tell him, you know, you're really, really very clever. You're so good with the computer. You're so good with so many things. And I'm so glad I said those lovely things to him. I'm so proud that I did, you know. And I love you so much. I said that every day. And, you know, in the early part of our marriage, I used to tell him, I'm telling you every day I love you, and you never say I love you back. And he said to me, but you should know. You should know. And I go, no, but I need romance. You know, it's pathetic. So again, I learned my nature is romantic. So who should do the romance? I should. And not expect anything. And so I did practice this one Valentine's Day, and everybody, I think some of you know this story. He came, never bought me flowers, so one Valentine's Day I decided I'm gonna buy the best rose I can find and give it to him. So I told him to go to work early before me. So I walked into our shop with this big, huge rose. What's this for? I said, for you, darling. Happy Valentine's Day. But he said, I didn't buy you any flowers. I said, I didn't expect you to. You're not the romantic one. I am. So, you know, after that, every Valentine's Day, 2 dozen roses. Honestly, I promise you, the year he passed away, 2 dozen roses. I never forgot on Valentine's Day. And I didn't bring him another rose. So, do you see how things change when you change your attitude? When you look for the best in people. But we expect people to be like ourselves, and that's not right. It's not fair. It's so unkind. I think it's so unkind to say, I am better than you. We're judging, and we don't even know we're doing it. The thing is, I was really ignorant, so I didn't know I was doing it. This is why I love to give this knowledge. Because I think with knowledge, we can change our lives and we can change it to positive. It makes me so happy to see this. Because there's so many things that are wrong that we can right with a little knowledge. Just with a little knowledge. But the problem is, we get the knowledge, we practice for 3 or 4 days, and then we stop. When you get the knowledge, the secret is you keep practicing every day, you watch yourself. And that's why meditation is so important. Otherwise, 1 week later, you'll forget all of this and back to old ways. And this is why Sri Patanjali in the Book of Science tells us we have to practice for a long time, without a break, and with all our heart. We really have to want it. And I keep asking people, it's not up to me. I can't practice for you. I can only practice for me. Do you want peace? Do you want to enjoy your life? Do you want to have a good life? Yes, then practice. You want to be a good pianist? Practice. Whatever you want to be good in life, and you have to practice. You go to the gym for a few hours every day. Why don't you practice on your own mind? You might end up a better person. You go to yoga classes every day. Has it made you a better person? That's the question to ask. If it hasn't, then you know something is not right here. Work on yourself. Don't blame anybody else. Have to work on me. There's something not right. something I'm not letting go of. And that's probably the big ego that wants to say, I am always the best, I'm always the right. You know, I tell you, nobody is ever the best because we're all going to end up in a coffin, and one some burnt and some buried. So who's the best at that time? You know? You have to laugh. How ridiculous is the state of the human mind? Really, we have to laugh. How ridiculous we are, wasting so much time on such nonsense, because that is the truth. I'm not lying. So, you know, who is better than who? I think in this life we need to hold each other's hands, walk along when we can. Those that want it, those that don't want it, okay, it doesn't matter. Don't go out there, people follow. No. We're not here to do that. We're just here to be good examples. And by our good example, we can be infectious, you know. Why do we want to be infectious negatively? Why can't we infect people positively? The world needs it. The world needs joy. I meet so many people today wanting to commit suicide. Breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. So many people in pain. You know, we need to be there to hold their hand. Yogis are supposed to be the strong ones, not the weak ones, and blaming people and criticizing people and judging people. We should be beyond all that judgment. We're not here to judge. We're really not here to judge. We're here to live a beautiful life. As Lord Jesus said, judge not, or you yourself will be judged. Of course there are people who do wrong things in their life. Of course they're not nice people in their life. And that's the next key that we're going to be working on. What do you do with those people? What do you do with those people? And the next key comes to disregard the wicked. Disregard. Can you look at that word disregard? What does that mean? Don't give them any energy. Neither positive nor negative. They'll just bite your head off if you give them positive, because they're in a place where they just want to hurt. So whatever you do with them is going to be a battle. Whatever you do with them. So you can't do anything. So walk away. Learn to walk away. I don't know why when people are screaming, and this is not just with evil people. This is in our own lives, you know, in attitudes, you know, disregard the wicked. Doesn't have to be a certain person who's bad. Sometimes in our own lives, we may do things that are not very nice. So when something is not very nice, like your partner does something that's not very nice, you tell your partner, for example, not scream, you tell them, I don't approve of this. I'm not going to take it because this is not correct. I don't deserve this. And they do it again. If you tell them again and again and again, it ends up in an argument, right? So what you do? They don't hear you? Okay, you're in this kind of mood. I'm going out with my friends who make me happy. Or I'm going to go for a nice long walk. That's what I used to do. Okay, if I stay here, I'm going to get angry and I'm going to get because you're in a mood. And so this is all going on in my mind. So you know what? I'm taking a nice, sweet walk away till everything calms down. And of course, when you come back, everybody's calmed down. So even in your individual life, you know, when something really negative is happening, just let it go. Let it go. Let it go for that moment, because it could be a huge war. And learning to walk away is so hard to do. So hard. Look at Devi with this woman. She thought she was being so hard to walk away with somebody who's a stranger who you feel is abandoned, and you help them. You can't walk away from that. How are you going to walk away from so many other people or yourself? You know, when I started working on myself with this one, because disregard the wicked, I started to study what is wicked in me. I start there, because if you understand yourself, you understand so many people. You know, the yogis say, if you understand the microcosm, you understand the macrocosm. I never could understand that. But with this practice, I understood that everything we needed to learn, we could get from ourselves deep inside if we spend time within. Most of our time, our minds are outside, blaming, frustrated, angry. And if we could just bring it inside to where the spirit lies, a place of love, you know. They say, the Buddhists say that in the lotus of the heart, there is a jewel, a diamond, and that diamond is where your spirit lives. So the focus should be inwards, inwards. So I looked at myself, because if you have to correct yourself first. And like I said, when I used to get angry with my husband, I didn't like the way I was. I didn't like to be angry. Anger is a horrible thing, and I got so sick and tired of my own childishness and anger. So how did I train myself in the early days when I could feel the anger rise up? You all know the feeling, it rises up. So before it gets to the mouth, before you're gonna say something you're gonna regret for the rest of your life, please, what I used to do is go into my room, lock the doors, and leave me alone. And in the early years, I used to hit my pillow on the bed, and after a while, I felt sorry for my pillow. And then there was no need to do it anymore, because I trained my mind. Because every time, it's behavior modification, it's psychology, right? They call it cognitive therapy, behavior cognitive therapy today. So you lose a behavior. They say if you practice a behavior for 21 days, you develop a new behavior. That's all it is. So that's what I did. I did it on myself. And of course, if you change, the world around you changes. It can't help but change. Now, I'll give you another such story. We had a lovely young girl called Gaina many, many years ago, and she worked at the special needs school in Gibraltar. And she used to come, I used to give talks every Tuesday, Wednesday in those days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so she started coming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Anyway, a few months down the road, another person comes from her school. One day, there's 8 people coming from her school. She taught at that special need. All the teachers came. So they were introducing themselves in the beginning. So I said, where did you, what brought you here? And one of the teachers just started laughing. Gaina. I said, yeah, I know she brought her, but what about her brought you here? And they all started laughing. So one of the teachers spoke up and she said, we were all quite nasty to each other in the staff room at tea break. We're kind of like each into our own ego game. And anybody working in a business, you'll see this happens a lot. And she said, one day Gaina walks in to the staff room and said, can I make you a cup of tea? So we thought, what's she about? And but she was very joyful and she was very sincere. And she did this day after day. So we all started feeling a little bad about ourselves, thinking, she's so nice and we're so horrible. So they all started being nicer to each other. Then they started to ask her, how have you changed? You look happier. You look more joyful. You're different. And she said, I just learned this science. Would you like to learn this science? She said, and that's why we're here. So you see, one person changes, everybody changes, So this is why I say it's so important to practice on yourself, because where are you all the time? You're home, right? Most of your time is either at work or at home. You need to make those places heaven on earth. Because otherwise it'll mean you're spending 90% of your life in hell. Hell and heaven are here. It's nowhere else. And we can change it. It's like magic. You can change it. It takes hard work. It's not easy, but it's magic when you change it. So I tell them, make your homes. People want to come into your home. Fill it with a sense of peace. And if you can't do it in the early days, practice, put nice mantras on, put nice music, watch comedies, make yourself laugh more, make the house lighter with laughter. And make your home a heaven. And everybody will love to come home, including you. I want to get home. I love my home. I just spend very little time in it. But it's just, I love it. As soon as I walk in, and I love it when my grandkids come and say, Granny, we love staying with you because the house is so peaceful. And how good that makes me feel. And when people walk in and say, we love your home, it's got such a nice energy. Because there's love in it, because there's joy in it. And if we all do this with our home, can you imagine the world, what a nice place it would be? You know, if every home in this room could be a haven, or every place of work through us changing could be a haven for so many people who are suffering, who are going through a tough time. And for yourself, a place to recharge, because we all need a place to recharge, a place to sit back and just just relax. Nobody judging you, because you're not judging anybody. You're not judging anybody, so nobody's judging you. That's freedom. That's such freedom. You want to enjoy it before you die. So, disregard the wicked. Disregard things that don't give things that are negative more energy. It's kind of like when something goes wrong. Oh, did you know she did that? Oh, did you know he did that? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? And then it's escalating because everybody did you know, and before you know it, there is a war. Sometimes, you know, when a few weeks ago when somebody sent me a nasty email, and it was to a few other people, but it was addressed, the nastiness was addressed to me. So I just wrote back, Om Shanti, peace. Don't even discuss. I didn't even discuss it. So the people who read the email, Nalanie, don't you think it's wrong what they said? I said, yeah, I don't want to go in debate. I don't want to go into war. They want to think that's the truth. That's their problem. I know, I really know that all I've given is love. So let it go. Say, should we fight back? I said, don't bother wasting your energy and time. If there's a necessity to fight back, I'll tell you. If it's worth it, if it's going to save somebody's life or save somebody, then we fight back. But this is only insulting me. I'm not bothered. Please don't waste the breath, because you have 20 emails back and forth with a lot of wastage of time. And then what happens is your head will go like this and you'll think of nothing else all day but this absolute nonsense. And that person who did that, nothing, you could see her face, because I met her a month later, and her face was all the time thinking this, and I was free, and I thought, you've done it to yourself. Why have you done it to yourself? You created your own hell. And I gave her a way out. I actually said, oh, I'm sorry if I offended you, because I really didn't mean to. I love you. Even that was not acceptable. You want to drown? Drown. Do you see? Disregard it. Because you can't force people. And many times here we try to justify ourselves, we try to force people to oh no, I didn't mean it this way, and then we create worse hell. And then it's back and forth, but you don't understand me and I don't understand you, and you don't go into it. Drop it. If it's not important, if it's just a small thing, don't embark on that journey, because it'll take weeks away of your life in complaint and misery, okay? Disregard it. Don't argue about small things. If you want to argue about things that are really important in the world. But these little things, you know, I see many couples come to me. Oh, he wants the glass there, and I want this, and I want the chair there, and he wants a... It's just a chair and a glass. You're going to allow that to destroy your relationship? Make him happy. Give him the glass there. What's the big deal? Is it going to really kill you if the glass is kept there instead of there? Tell me, is it really that important that you want to ruin your entire life? Do you know, I really... And then they go, it's true, Nalanie. Yeah, it's true. So go home and surprise him or surprise her and say, yeah, you can have the glass there. What? No, it's okay though, so you can have it there, you watch. So it's quite funny, human beings, we're quite funny. The moment you give them permission, or the moment you leave it alone, they will do it. Yeah, so I have to laugh, but this is the state of our mind. And is it wrong or is it right? None of this is wrong or right, it's just learning to understand the way the mind works. That's all it is. And that's why when I got this book of science and I was taught it, I thought, wow, this is a gold mine. It's psychology par excellence. It's honorable. It leaves you feeling good about yourself. It leaves you forgiving everybody in your life, and it leaves you free. And for me, honor, integrity, these things are really important. We don't have honor and integrity in our lives. We don't like ourselves very much. And we don't create nice things around us. You see people who work without integrity and honor, there's a lot of destruction around them. A lot of pain around them. You know, really, 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 heaven and hell are here on this earth. And it's up to us, I think, you know, in the prayer, Our Father who art, you know it? Any of you know this prayer? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Did you hear that? It should be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. All we want is we have enough to eat every day. And forgive us our trespasses. Forgive us when we trespass into somebody else's property. That's all it means. As we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Help us to rise above it. Disregard it. Rise above it. Let it go. You know? And that's the final 4 locks and keys.